morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Sunday, November 19th, 2023. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first 5 cards in our 5-card spread? First card we are starting our day off with today. This is going to feel like a continuation of the energy that we felt yesterday, especially for the energies right now that are either in divine union or trying to come into divine union. Even for the energies in separation right now, this is going to feel like a little bit of contentment that is coming into play. We've got here the 6 of Cups, feeling that point of reinforcement in terms of the healthy karmic energy that is around you right now. Masculine and feminine energy that is in partnership and union. This is going to feel like a lot of that energy in fielding and building that supportive system around you right now. Feeding back into what you are trying to grow. We see here that there's a lot of work right now based on that sense of cultivation and curation and care right now. Masculine and feminine energy in divine union and partnership. This is that sense or that feeling right now of security and easement that the divine union or the divine partnership brings. A lot of care and concentration based on the self. We even noticed yesterday for a lot of the energy that was in divine union, there was that feeling of not necessarily being completely in communication with each other yesterday. This is going to feel like a lot of that homecoming energy that we effectively like to see in divine union and partnership at this moment. Now, for masculine and feminine energy that is working to come into divine union partnership, this is that feeling of alignment that we want to see. What are we seeing here? It is not the sense or the fact that everything is easy here. There's been a moment of having to feel that full weight of having to navigate some sensations related right now to situations and circumstances that have been somewhat hard to bear, particularly on the side of the masculine energy. There's a point of recognition here of masculine feeling this moment or this degree right now in really embodying the fact that there's something here that has been hard for them to navigate. But again, this is masculine energy that is doing that continual work of balancing in the self. It's feeling like a little bit of that upgrade energy because this is the masculine energy really holding tight to those energetic karmic partnerships that matter the most to them. This is masculine. Again, this is the continuation right now, energy moving closer into the divine union cycle, because this is masculine and feminine energy that is learning the gift or the ability to fall together when things get difficult instead of falling apart. Now, for the energy that's in this modality right now, this could almost be feeling like a lot of that, like let bygones be bygones energy coming in. It's going to feel like a lot of catharsis that's potentially coming into play. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is working or in a space or state of separation. This is going to feel a lot right now in terms of leaning or leveraging right now the energy that feels like it is supportive around you. So this is any of that karmic energy in relation to friends, community, family. This is almost continuing to grow this right now. And again, for the feminine energy, this is going to feel less like something that is romantically based. This is almost feminine energy just building that sense of support around themselves right now from a very karmic perspective, feeling the weight and the viability of those partnerships. While for masculine in separation right now, this could be a moment right now of really leaning on those platonic emotional connections. It's almost this moment that we are recognizing right now. The masculine really trying to like get that sense of support right now from energy that's around them at this time, because this is almost a masculine energy that is having this like moment of self-inquiry, self-introspection. Feminine is building support in this moment, almost stabilizing where they find themselves at this time. While masculine may be seeking deeper understanding of the self in separation right now through the energy of the karmic energy that's around them that is giving them that insight and support, almost potentially moving towards them from a state or space of clarity. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Second card in our 5-card spread for today is we have here our 2 of Pentacles in its reversal. Masculine and feminine energy right now that is working through points or periods of divine union and partnership. A lot of this is feeling like it is the solidarity and the stability of the partnership itself. It's almost reaffirming one's own conviction. It's reestablishing that boundary. It's recommitting back to oneself. This is why we see that the divine union energy feels like a battery, if you will, because it's almost that moment that it is continually feeding back into itself, that is allowing this like state or space of really being able to like generate this positive energy going forward. And it is almost reaffirming the partnership itself, is reaffirming the decisions that are being reached in these modalities. It is almost looking right now and seeing what you are creating around yourself right now that is reconvincing, giving more affirmation to the decisions that have led up to this point. Now, masculine and feminine energy that are moving into divine union and partnership right now, this is furthering that feeling of commitment to oneself at this time. This is effectively, we are seeing here that this is masculine and feminine energy moving into partnership right now, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Of those energies, effectively saying, regardless of how I feel right now, regardless of what's happened before, regardless of what's happened in the past, we're going to leave the past in the past. We're going to continue to focus on this. We're going to make different choices in the future. This is a moment that feels like a lot of healing right now coming through for the energies right now moving into divine union and partnership, because this is effectively the energy that is looking towards the other and saying, I am affirming my commitment to you. That there's something here, again, a masculine almost saying to feminine, regardless of what has happened, regardless of whether that's been positive or negative, I am continuing to move forward right now in wanting to create something with you. And this is feminine effectively saying the same to masculine in kind, i.e. leading to divine union and partnership. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now, that is, again, working in separation, this is more of the confirmation on the choice. Why are we seeing this? Because the same lesson that's coming in through divine union right now is effectively reaffirming and reestablishing the choice to be in separation. Because there's a moment right now that we're seeing that for the feminine, there is a point. This is why the feminine energy isn't going backwards or just going forward, which is the fact of saying that if an energy was ready to come into divine union or partnership, they would effectively be in this modality. They would be moving towards feminine right now and effectively saying to feminine, regardless of what has happened in our past, I am affirming my conviction to want to be with you in this capacity. I am affirming the choice that I want to make here. That's why we see for the energy right now that is moving right now in separation, this is furthering that feeling for feminine about the idea or the perception of the sense of coming into a state or place of easement, because this is a feminine energy that is effectively saying them to themselves to a certain extent. This is not a moment for feminine of having to go back to something, because feminine is affirming where they are. This is feminine energy saying the door is always open. The door is always open to be able to show that you can do this work, but it is up to someone to walk through it. This is almost that feminine energy reaffirming this conviction to themselves right now that is helping them go forward on this path. Masculine energy right now that is in separation. This is that moment that is going to feel more like a sense or space of personal questioning, because what we're really identifying here is this is a masculine that is turning towards the energy around them, the platonic energy around them, the family, the friends, and saying, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to change? They're either saying this right now, again, from a point of actually asking for feedback, or this is almost a masculine energy that's trying to surround themselves with this energy so that they can take some notes. Because again, this is masculine energy in separation right now that's trying to look at something and say, like, what am I not picking up here that everyone else seems to pick up on? This is almost masculine energy trying to go back there to see what that secret is that they're not necessarily able to understand, that's allowing for this point of harmony as it relates to the healthy karmic energy. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Third card in our 5-card spread for today is, wow, that was a spinner. Good. We're glad, and this is very intriguing because you guys didn't see it, but this card was spinning like crazy when it came out of the deck. So this is that moment that is effectively, again, and speaking about doors, because this is almost feminine energy again. Feminine energy is rebuilding. Feminine energy right now in separation is rebuilding their own perception on healthy karmic energy that's coming towards them at this point. Because what we are effectively seeing here is a feminine energy that recognizes that to a certain extent in the past, they've had a situation or circumstance where they may have felt like they were a bit of a revolving door. What was that revolving door? Allowing energy to come in that didn't necessarily come with the best of intentions, hadn't done that important karmic work, but more was just like letting the crisis right back in. For feminine energy right now, this is why we see that this is a feminine that is affirming their own path of going forward right now. Feminine almost energy is almost like utilizing the healthy karmic energy that's around them right now, almost like a staircase that they're climbing to hold this space or place right now in terms of identifying and saying, I'm moving away from anything that's creating crisis. If anything wants to join me on this journey, they are welcome to, but they need to show an ability of recognizing that sense of accountability, not wanting to bring that point of crisis into circumstances and situations. This is why we see that the feminine energy is almost redoubling their own sense of stoicism at this moment. Because this is, again, a feminine energy that says, my job is not to chase after anything. The job isn't to chase after anyone. My job is, again, the feminine energy is trying to cultivate right now and saying, I'm looking for the positive, healthy, karmic energy. I'm supporting that. I'm letting my choices be clear, and I'm fixating and staying firm on my choices, because there's a sense right now of trying to avoid or avert any sense of crisis. And there is a moment right now that may be feeling somewhat triggering for feminine energy. There's a moment right now that, again, this is what is so valuable right now. It's not the fact that a lot of this isn't coming back up. We see the fact that this is coming back up either metaphysically right now or very tangibly. But this is almost a feminine energy that is seeing the moment that things are coming back up, and it is not making them question their own sense of self. It is reaffirming to them the commitment that they've made in not going back to circumstances or situations that have caused any level or degree of uncertainty for them. This is almost a feminine that is saying, like, I'm redoubling their efforts. This is almost a feminine energy saying to themselves, to a certain extent, did I stutter? No. This is feminine energy saying, I am doubly affirming the fact that there is a conviction here to be able to continue forward on the path with the healthy, healed karmic energy. This is that, again, this is why we see this is so important right now. Energetically, what we are effectively seeing right now that is happening for the feminine energy is a moment of looking towards masculine energy and separation, in saying that what they want to avoid is being a crutch to allow the masculine energy not to continue to proceed forward. That is why we see that the feminine energy is taking this level or degree of stoicism right now, because this is a feminine energy that is almost saying to masculine, I cannot stay with you unless you learn these lessons, because that would not be an act of love. That would be an act of selfishness, because it would not be fostering a healthy karmic connection. This is almost feminine energetically saying, I need to see that, like, I've been teaching you how to walk. I need to see that you can walk. I can't carry you. Masculine energy right now that is in separation, this is going to feel like a bit more of that point of personal crisis that may be leading to a lot of insight, may be leading to a lot of personal epiphanies, may be leading to you really recognizing the difference between having a lot of energy around you versus having actual, supportive, karmically healthy energy around you. This is that moment of masculine, again, either building this from a state or space of observation and seeing a point of recalibration. Masculine, you may now be seeing right now, you may be presently active in seeing some energy around you right now that is moving in a very healthy karmic way. This is more of that masculine energy. Again, they couldn't necessarily come into some spaces or places. This is masculine almost surrounding themselves with this right now. And like almost like watching it very carefully, like almost watching very carefully and seeing that one of the big differences that's happening right now is it's not that everything is always easy with the energy that is in divine, that is in healthy karmic energy. It's the fact that when things get difficult, they don't run away from each other. They don't move away from each other. This is almost masculine energy realizing this. This is beautiful because we're seeing that in separation right now. This is masculine almost recognizing that it's not a moment right now of moving away from things that are hard. It is leaning into those moments that things are hard right now, that is further amplifying that determination in building the positive karmic energy. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now, that is we're coming into divine union. This is literally what you're doing right now. This is literally what is leading to divine union right now, because this is effectively masculine and feminine energy that, again, it's not the fact that there was a crisis that was reached. It's that instead of falling apart, instead of falling away from each other, you're falling together. You're falling closer towards each other. It's that recognition of affirming that no matter what happens, you are not going to abandon the partnership. Masculine is experiencing this right now. There's been something that's been very hard for them to bear. They're falling deeper into the partnership. Feminine, you are doing the same exact work. You're not running in the opposite direction. You're moving deeper into the partnership. And this is that moment that for masculine and feminine, you are feeling the full weight and the full support of being able to really kind of hold on to one another through any points of difficulty or crisis. And that is almost reaffirming your own choice as it relates to going forward at this time. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is in divine union and partnership, this is that battery effect that we're seeing. This is that moment of feeling like the partnership itself, the value of the partnership is that it amplifies the fact that no matter what occurs, it doesn't affect the partnership. The partnership is the source of strength. The partnership is the sustaining element. The partnership is the viability point. It is the unbreakable chain, because this is a moment that we're seeing that it is the strength of the partnership itself that is being amplified, that is helping navigate and through any sense of difficulty or burden or crisis at this time. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Fourth card in our 5-card spread is... Love this. We've got here our Emperor energy. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is working in divine union and partnership. This is going to feel a lot like masculine energy is going to have this moment that feels almost like a bit of a dawning realization. It's almost going to feel a little bit of like that Lao Tzu quote, "He who is content can never be ruined." This is almost masculine energy looking at something right now and feeling the strength of what they've created that cannot be effectively torn asunder, because the thing that they can't tear asunder is the karmic connection, is the strength of that connection. It is the power of the divine union. Masculine is feeling the weight of the fact that they're creating something now that is an extension and an expansion point of the self. This is the masculine looking right now, and this is going to feel for a lot of the masculine energy right now that is in divine union or in divine partnership. This is almost going to feel to a certain extent right now like you're looking at the energy around you and you're saying that is where your wealth lies. What you're creating around you, the people that you're creating around you, it is beyond your own self. It's that feeling, and again, we're getting here that this is going to feel like from the masculine energy in divine union and partnership right now, that feeling of emperor energy that we love to see, which is the positive aspects of an emperor energy. An emperor is a custodian. An emperor is a guardian. An emperor is something that protects. And this is almost the masculine energy coming through this right now, navigating and feeling some of this right now to a certain extent. And it is empowering. It is empowering the connection. It is amplifying the connection. It is strengthening the connection, specifically because we see that this is that moment that feels like masculine is building on the security of the partnership, and it's almost feeling the weight and the strength of divine union, really building that security system. Masculine and feminine energy, and bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Feminine energy right now, you could also be feeling like this in the partnership. You are feeling the strength and the pride to a certain extent of seeing masculine in this modality. Because what you like about this energy is it doesn't feel like an energy that is controlling. It doesn't feel like an energy that needs to put its will or its energy on something. It is something that is just working to protect, just working to cultivate, just working to curate, doing its best through any difficulties, through any obstacles. This is that beautiful powering engine of the feminine and masculine. Feminine is effectively, again, feeling the strength and the catharsis point in divine union for this very reason. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is trying to come into partnership. Feminine, you are seeing a masculine that is mastering this ability. This could even be a moment right now where some of the feminine energy, even if there's been some situations, if this is past energy that is coming towards you, this is masculine energy. What is masculine energy doing right now that is allowing for an ability or degree of divine union to occur? What are they doing? They're taking accountability for what's happened in the past. This is not a masculine that runs away from their own sense of accountability here. This is masculine energy that is effectively saying to feminine in a certain extent, I recognize that I have had moments that I was not perfect. I recognize that there is a point of accountability that I need to make in terms of creating some feeling of crisis around you, or potentially leaving you in a space of crisis. This is masculine almost coming forward and saying, I see what I did. I recognize what I did. I am here to take accountability for it. I am here to step up. I am here to show you that I am here to come in that way. And this is, again, an energy that we are effectively seeing right now. The feminine is feeling the strength and the solidarity of that, because this is a feminine energy that sees that this is a masculine energy that, again, doesn't run away from problems. They run in to fix. They're running in because that is the masculine making the choice and saying that the choice is to effectively correct, to navigate, to stick together in a point of crisis instead of moving away. Now, masculine and feminine energy that is in separation, this is why we see the feminine energy is not going towards, is not chasing after any masculine energy right now. Why isn't the feminine energy not chasing after masculine energy? Bearing in mind, it's not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Feminine energy is not chasing after masculine right now, because feminine is basically saying, again, feminine is like, I just need to leave myself open to it. I need to keep my eyes peeled. I need to seek. I need to keep my eyes peeled. That's all I need to do here, because this is feminine that's basically saying, the door is open. The feminine's like keeping their options open. This is feminine basically saying, this is the feminine energy saying, it's the feminine energy saying, I'm keeping my options open, not to a particular energy. I'm keeping my options open to the positive energy that shows this ability or this degree of growth. It shows this ability or degree of rising to the challenge, of coming into a sense of self-mastery. Being able to do something that is difficult and not letting a moment of crisis create a further problem, but standing stoically in the moment, in the aftermath of a problem, in the aftermath of a crisis point, of, again, a masculine energy that's like, when the dust settles, they are still there. This is why feminine's like, I can't chase after that. There's no way, because any energy that isn't near feminine at this time is an energy that is effectively approved that is not something that they are willing or able or capable to do. This is why this is feeling like a bit of a homework assignment right now for feminine, being like, don't need to chase after anyone. I just got to see whether the energy can effectively stand in this capacity. This is why in separation right now, feminine is doubling down on the value. And this is why it is feeling, to a certain extent, that sense of stoicism right now is bringing feminine into a higher like, this is feminine embodying more of this masculine energy in the self. Because this is feminine energy allowing themselves, again, with that balance of the masculine energy that was coming in yesterday. This is feminine energy being like, my job is not necessarily to go seeking that. My job is to see the masculine energy that either, again, comes towards me now, that shows their own ability in doing this, or masculine energy that shows that they have grown in this capacity because they're ready to come into their own power of self-mastery. And that level of self-mastery begins with accountability. It begins with accountability. Masculine energy in separation. It's going to feel a little rough today. It might feel a little rough today, but again, it's important, because it's important energy, because what we are seeing here, this is going to feel potentially like a little bit of epiphany energy that's coming in right now for the masculine energy and separation. Because this is potentially, again, this is giving a lot of epiphany right now for masculine energy and separation, because this is potentially looking at situations or scenarios, potentially even having some point of observation in the energy around you at this time. Almost like looking, I'm getting here, like almost like looking at something and being like, what am I missing? Like, what am I missing? What am I not getting here? And this is it. This is that moment of being like, light bulb. Because the light bulb that's going off is potentially seeing energy around you that's going through points of crisis. It's not that things are easy. Things are really hard. But that energy, masculine, if you're in separation, you're seeing the fact that when things get hard, they don't run in the opposite direction. They run towards each other. They hold on to each other. It's a fat masculine energy is realizing in separation right now that the reason potentially that they're, again, this is masculine energy in separation. Some of this masculine energy is in separation we're seeing, and you may even observe this because you were trying to keep your options open. This is potentially why you're now landing on the fact that you're seeing that a lot of the energy isn't allowing you towards them right now, or why you're feeling that like outside looking in thing, because now there's a moment that it doesn't feel like keeping your options open feels like it is something that is the gift. You're feeling like instead the gift is when things are difficult to see energy around you that's able to have your back, that's able to support you. This is masculine energy coming into mastery right now in separation, in recognizing where the gift lies. And the gift doesn't lie in a state or space of autonomy. It lies in having the positive karmic energy around you when you need it, amplifying that, building that, creating that. And you're potentially seeing this right now in separation, masculine, and you're potentially having a moment of reconsidering your own. You're almost having a moment right now that may again feel like a little bit of, it's going to feel a little bit like a lot of like situations from the past that are replaying for you right now. And the problem with that replay is now you may understand, or you may be seeing what you should have done in those moments that may have led to those different outcomes. It's like that moment of seeing like, oh, that's what they were looking for from me. Oh, that's what I should have done in that moment. It's going to feel a little bit devastating even as you do this, because it is a painful lesson that is bringing a higher mastery of the self. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Fifth card in our 5-card spread is our Page of Wands in its reversal. Now, the issue or the circumstance that we're effectively seeing right now, especially as it relates to masculine and feminine energy in partnership at this moment, is potentially a point or a situation or scenario. Again, masculine and feminine energy in divine union and divine partnership. One of the things that we're potentially seeing right now is, again, this almost has to do right now with the space or state of masculine feeling like they can't necessarily articulate what they're feeling. It's almost this like moment right now of masculine, again, even in divine union and divine partnership. There's a moment right now that's potentially coming through to a certain degree. And again, this is where we see a little bit of this like beautiful cyclical thing happening right now as it relates to the divine union energy and what we're seeing the energy in separation with. Masculine energy right now, you may be doing a lot of work right now on some energy around you. Jeez Louise. On some energy around you right now that is coming to you for some advice. Like, this is a masculine energy that potentially has energy coming towards them right now for advice in this capacity, almost being like, again, what did I just say? This is like the thread getting knotted, being like, how do you do this? How do you do it? Like, what are you doing? And masculine's just like, again, it's going to be really hard for masculine energy right now because, again, it's almost that point of articulation that's potentially occurring, that it's hard to help the energy asking you for advice in this capacity, because if you don't view the world like this, if you haven't reached this point of perception, then, you know, it's almost this point that like it's almost impossible to articulate, we're seeing. So this is masculine energy in this modality right now that may be having a lot of energy coming towards them in this moment, being like, again, feeling in a certain degree like they're trying to understand, like and again, potentially having a moment where they're potentially like asking for help, asking for advice, being like, what is this in this fashion? But again, it's almost a masculine energy looking at this energy and almost feeling like a little bit of patronizing energy to it, because, you know, it's a hard lesson that like it's really hard to articulate if you haven't effectively experienced it. Okay? Now, masculine energy right now and feminine that are in this modality right now, what we're effectively seeing is, again, feminine, this is almost a moment as well. Feminine energy right now is almost in a space or place where it's like feminine isn't necessarily worrying too much about the outside energy that's around them. It's almost like feminine is losing interest in any energy that isn't around the partnership itself, because this is almost feminine energy to a certain extent, being like, what else would I need beyond this? This is feminine energy also like keeping this like concentration and attention in this way, because again, this is not a masculine energy, bearing in mind that this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. This is not a masculine energy that has built the divine union through a point of control. This is a masculine energy that has built a divine union via means of careful care and curation. And this is a feminine energy that builds in terms of understanding and recognizing that. And this is, again, masculine energy, a feminine that's almost like, again, like it's almost coming through as a feminine, like not necessarily communicating, not necessarily reaching out, because this is feminine energy that's feeling a lot of contentment and commitment in the partnership itself. Masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership right now, this is feeling that depth or that degree of security and stability in the partnership itself. Feminine, the reason that the feminine energy right now is effectively in this modality or in this vibration, where we see that in partnership, coming into partnership right now, this is feminine assessing the masculine. This is feminine looking at the masculine right now. This is why we saw this, is feminine was seeing the fact right now energetically that there was a point of crisis that was reached. Masculine was trying to navigate this. Feminine was making sure to see. And again, this is why we identify right now that this is a moment that's either leading to divine union or it's just leading back into separation. Because again, the positive energy right now that's coming into divine union, this is a masculine energy that is recognizing a crisis point that occurred with feminine. They're recognizing that they may have had some part in the crisis point. Again, this is either a masculine energy that's having a hard time navigating something that they themselves gave the feminine that they're now getting back, or this is a masculine energy that may have misspoke or overreacted to something. This is a masculine energy taking accountability. Taking accountability at that moment, saying, I recognize that I have a part to play in what occurred. I'm taking accountability. And this is the dividing line for feminine as to whether feminine is continuing to move forward in the divine union cycle right now or moving right back into separation. Because if a masculine energy right now is trying to shuck off accountability, is trying to push off blame, is trying to say like, no, this was a you problem. This was not a me problem. I had nothing to do with this. This is feminine energy that's effectively, and I'm going to say this is like feminine energy that's walking away from masculine right now, and they're not looking back. Because then again, this is a feminine that's not even seeing this as a masculine energy. This is a feminine energy looking at a masculine that's acting like a spoiled child. This is feminine looking at masculine and saying, you should have been there to protect or defend me and to stand with me at this moment. But if you're trying to like cast blame, this is almost like feminine being like, there's like, I have to say for the energy right now that's trying to come into divine union or partnership, this is almost like there was a cookie jar that dropped. There was like a cookie jar that dropped in front of the masculine and feminine energy. And feminine is literally watching the masculine right now to basically see if the masculine is saying, well, you know, that's kind of my fault because I put the cookie jar like so close to the edge of something that it was going to go. Or if this is a masculine going, look what you did to the cookie jar. Look what you did to the cookie jar. And this is feminine energy basically being like, this is going to feel very polarizing right now for the energy and partnership, because this is feminine energy again being like, they got it or they don't. They've got it or they don't. And feminine's like, I can't fix that. I just need to observe it. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now. Masculine and then feminine right now that is in separation. This is exactly why we see that the feminine is not going back to these situations or scenarios, because this is again feminine effectively affirming to themselves and saying, even if a masculine in the past acted like this is a feminine saying, when that energy can come back and take the accountability for their responsibility in the crisis point, then this is feminine basically saying, then that's okay. There can be a possibility here. This is why the feminine energy is clearing this energetically right now without holding on to the karma, but also feeling like they're continuing the masculine forward on the healing journey, because this is feminine saying, I'm not closing a door, but I'm not going to tolerate an energy that refuses to take responsibility or accountability for their own actions. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Six of Cups in combination with our Two of Pentacles in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Knight of Wands in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now. that is moving through this point. Even for the energy right now, this is very interesting. This is very interesting. Masculine and feminine energy right now that is moving into this space or vibration. I got to say, this is coming through with like a lot of contentment right now. Like heavy on the contentment today. And I got to stress right now, the energies are reflecting each other. Okay? Because what we're effectively seeing right now is, again, this is that beautiful battery that we love to see as it relates to the masculine and feminine energy. All right? Is that arc? The masculine and feminine energy right now that are trying to come into divine partnership or divine union. Because what we're effectively seeing at this time is, again, the power and the capacity of the feminine and masculine to be able to give this back to each other in kind is almost reaffirming the choice to be able to move together in partnership at this moment. And again, it's this point that we're effectively seeing as it relates to masculine and feminine having to do with the outside energy around them. Masculine is not feeling that level or degree of interest of anything outside of the partnership, because this is masculine almost looking at the partnership right now, looking at it and saying, why would I go anywhere else? This is giving me everything that I need. This is the choice. This is what I want. It's almost like it's like that interest in outside energy almost like is evaporating. Feminine in the same modality is feeling very much the same. It's like feminine being like, where would I go? Why would I do anything? It's not really something that intrigues right now, because what you're getting so much nourishment from the healthy karmic connection of the partnership that it's creating a feeling of contentment. It's creating a feeling of satisfaction. It can feel a little bit today. Okay, it will feel a little bit like there are some blockages potentially in inspiration and creativity right now, potentially for the masculine energy. But that's okay. This is something that we almost see as like not necessarily a big deal right now, because this is a day of easement. It's not really coming through as something that's super important right now to any of the energies. Coming into like, this is like feeling like relaxing on the couch kind of energy today. A little more of that like Sunday that we saw that was yesterday, that was a Saturday, continuing into today. Now, masculine and feminine energy that is trying to come into partnership. This is the affirmation or confirmation that you are making to one another right now in terms of really effectively articulating that you have made that choice, that you are that choice for the other. This is the moment that, again, the energy that is coming into divine union right now, this is, again, masculine and feminine energy right now, basically saying you are the choice going forward. And again, this is masculine. This is that moment that, again, masculine is articulating their own level or degree of choosing the feminine in this moment. And this is masculine almost saying to the feminine, I don't want anybody else. I don't have any interest in anyone else. You are the choice. Now, masculine and feminine that's moving into divine union with masculine at this time, you are effectively seeing this from a masculine energy. That is, again, and this is even potentially a masculine energy that may have had to have a point of articulation in saying to the feminine, I recognize that I may have said the wrong things in the past. I recognize that I may have done the wrong things in the past. But I am here to affirm to you that you are my choice. You are the thing that I desire. And this is, again, leading to masculine and feminine energy right now, moving into that divine union and that divine partnership. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is in separation, this is why we see that the feminine energy is affirming their own choice to continue forward at this time, because this is feminine energy that is effectively saying to themselves, to a certain extent, there is not a space. This is feminine energy saying that they are looking for energy right now that chooses the value and the strength of building a healthy karmic connection. This is feminine energy almost affirming to themselves too that anything that they're leaving behind was an energy that more than anything potentially was not in a space or place of being able to make the partnership the priority. That this was a masculine energy potentially that they're leaving behind, that over and over again, regardless of whether it had to do with other people or other priorities, this is a feminine energy that says that the point of observation was that the masculine energy from the past that they're trying to heal would not make the prioritization of the emotional comfort of themselves the priority in going forward. And this is effectively a feminine that is saying to themselves that is why they are continuing forward without looking back right now, even if it is difficult, because they're looking at this again as an energy that only sought them from a sense and a space of pursuing their own personal interest, as opposed to having the empathy in recognizing the value and significance in making sure that the energy around you is feeling safe, seen, supported. Continuing to get clarification. Masculine energy in separation right now. This could be that observation point that you're seeing. This could be feeling right now like a little bit of that epiphany coming in, being like, oh, as you look at some things right now, because you are effectively seeing this right now, potentially not even again in the partnership, in yourself. You're potentially seeing it around you right now. You're almost like getting that information now just by watching, because you are seeing a circumstance or situation wherein the energy chooses themselves and they're comfortable choosing themselves. You're seeing the fact that they're not effectively bothered by anything because the choice is always in the care of the other person. It is the other person's first priority to make sure that the energy around them is okay. And this potentially for masculine is feeling like a little bit of that, like, I'm getting here. This is like, I gotta stress, maybe it's like the season. This is feeling like the Grinch. Like it's feeling a little bit for the energy right now in separation. This is like feeling like a little bit of Grinch energy right now if you're in separation masculine, like looking down and being like, what are they doing differently? Oh, they don't care. They don't care what's happening around them because they care about themselves. It's like that's where the light bulb is coming in. It's like masculine in separation right now is going, that's it. That's why this is masculine almost falling on this right now and realizing it and suddenly having a moment of seeing this potentially, if it's not happening within you, within you, because it's not, because you're in separation. You're literally seeing it being played out in front of you. And it's giving you some point of information. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Two of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Tower in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with the Devil in its reversal. The healing is coming, my friends. The healing is coming one way or another. It's coming one way or another. It's like you can't avoid it. You got to heal. Everybody's got to heal. All right, so masculine and feminine energy right now that are in divine union or in divine partnership. Okay, this is that moment that we are effectively observing that's coming through right now in a space or place of, again, identifying what needs to come into a space or place of correction. It's almost this moment right now for the divine union energy. It is feeling a lot like that moment of easement. It is that moment right now of recognizing the power and the ability of the partnership. It's like, again, anything can be overcome. Any difficulty can be navigated. Everything is like this moment because it's almost like that point of confirmation, continuing to move forward, continuing to reaffirm the choice, of the divine union at this time is immediately creating further healing. It just amplifies the healing. It just grows the healing. It just continues to be a source of healing. And it's difficult because it is requiring a point of constant recalibration, seeing one's own, making one's necessary changes. And it's feeling, but again, it's going to feel more for the divine union energy right now like it's a work in progress. It's something that you constantly have to like refine, right? It's like constant refinement, but perpetual healing in the process, okay? Masculine and feminine trying to come into partnership right now. This is that point of observation that we are effectively seeing, because what we are identifying right now for the energy trying to come into partnership at this moment is that moment that's going to feel like a massive moment of catharsis. It's going to feel like a huge influx of healing that is coming into these partnerships or these situations, because it's almost this moment that regardless of what's happened in the past, regardless of what those points were, there is a possibility to heal. Why? Because feminine energy is seeing a masculine that's able to come towards them from a state or space of accountability, A masculine that's able to come towards them and basically say, I see that I was not perfect, refinement. I see where I could have done better, refinement. I'm able to take accountability to make this better, refinement. I'm choosing this, and I'm choosing to improve so that I can continue to be a part of this partnership, divine union. Feminine is at the moment also going through this because this is feminine seeing an energy that is saying to feminine, I see my part. And this is feminine potentially providing this to masculine right now. These two energies right now are effectively reflecting each other because feminine seeing masculine's ability to do this, being a mirror, is now saying to masculine the exact same thing that masculine just gave them, which is feminine saying to masculine, I also see my part in what went wrong. I also see my own ability to do this. I want to do better. This is masculine being like, you go high, we go high. You go low, you go low. You want to pick which one we want to go. We're going up or down. This is feminine again. Masculine's realizing that like emotionally, energetically, feminine's own ability to like not choose where to eat is based on the fact that feminine is trying to match the masculine energy, right? It's like, this is like happening energetically right now. And this is masculine being like, I need to put forth what I need to get back. This is literally masculine being like, I cannot keep going to feminine and giving them one thing and expecting another. This is masculine, again, if in separation right now, having this like, oh, geez, Louise moment of recognizing and being like, she's going to give me what I give them. She's just going to match where I am. She's going to just do what I want, what I am doing. This is a feminine being like, you decide, right? Feminine, you're also potentially seeing here again. You're seeing a masculine right now that's in this modality. They're taking the accountability. You're going, thank God. Thank goodness. Thank goodness that this energy is finally seeing that I'm going to give them what they give me. This is feminine coming into the space that this is also taking time because what is feminine been learning right now? Feminine is learning that they need to do this to masculine because their own ability to overgive to masculine stops the masculine energy from being able to develop. It stops it in its tracks. That's why the feminine energy in separation right now is coming into a space or state and saying, I need to hold firm in terms of what I desire so that masculine recognizes that I am not going to cater to what they decide is going to be the status quo. I am going to make sure that we are in a space that feels like it is creating divine union. Masculine and feminine energy right now that is in separation, masculine, you may be getting this. This is literally the masculine coming into partnership right now, seeing and realizing this. This is feminine and masculine in separation, like also seeing and realizing this. Feminine is affirming to themselves that they have to hold their boundaries. They can't go back to walking towards crisis because that just propagates the crisis. This is feminine energy basically saying, I need to continue forward on my healing path because that is my best way to love the masculine. It's having that sense of recognizing what I will and will not tolerate. Masculine energy in separation. This could be a moment where you're feeling like you need to take some accountability for some things. There could be a moment right now of masculine. You may be feeling like some healing coming, but it is coming through with a lot of revisiting of some situations and circumstances right now, looking at them and saying, I could have done better. And this is a masculine. It's going to feel it's going to feel cathartic right now because this is even right now for an energy right now that's in separation. This is a masculine energy right now that is looking at something and effectively saying and recognizing and saying to themselves, the fact that I know now a different choice that I would make is evidence that I can heal this. It's the observation point that masculine's having right now in terms of recognizing that they would make a different choice, that even in separation right now is now allowing for more healing to come. Because again, this is either now something that they can fix to relieve the the pressure, or this is something that they can take forward with them going forward. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Tower in its reversal, in combination with its Emperor energy. Big cards here, big energy. This is big energy for masculine today, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. May I please have one card to clarify? 8 of Swords in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that are in divine union and divine partnership. This is the beauty and the power of the divine union and the divine partnership. This is that energy that we are seeing and experiencing wherein masculine and feminine energy right now. It's not that everything is perfect, but it is the fact that you are constantly working on navigating anything that is not. And it is allowing a level or degree right now of easement to come into some circumstances and situations. It is allowing some path forward right now that feels like it is functional. It feels like it is almost going to feel right now for a lot of the masculine and feminine energy right now in divine union and partnership. Like again, you're breaking through your own limiting beliefs. You're breaking through your own limiting possibilities. The divine union and the divine partnership is just allowing for this like expansion outwards right now. That is so beautiful because again, it feels like this is why the divine union, and this is what's important about it, this is why the divine union doesn't feel confining. Because it is not a situation or circumstance that is built on confinement. It is not something that is being, it's not the words between you. It's not what's said. It's not what you call it. It is the choice that you are making to each other. That actually is like basically saying to the other, you can do whatever you want. The door is open. You can do all the things that you need to do. I am here to help you, to nurture you, to support you. And for masculine energy right now, this is again that moment where you don't feel you don't feel like this is a situation or scenario that you have to constantly like keep a tight hand on. It's recognizing that all you need to do is create this level or degree of support. You just need to be there. You have to create this like nurturing system. And this is a masculine feeling the strength and the weight and the power of coming into that point of understanding. Because this is almost a moment that says as a masculine, there's a feeling of easement because it's a feeling like nothing is effectively going to is not going to create this difficulty point in the divine union and partnership because overall, it's like this is not a situation or circumstance where the energy feels like they're compelled to be in it. It's something that there's a point that's just a personal choice that someone is making again and again and again for the other. Feminine, you may be feeling like this as well. You are seeing right now masculine energy that is willing to go through difficult things, that is willing to stand in the moment that things are hard. They don't fall apart, they fall together. And this is feminine energy right now, feeling the strength of divine union because this is a mass feminine energy that again is almost saying, I'm not going anywhere. Why would I go anywhere? This is feminine looking at masculine and being like, this is masculine energy that's gotten enough self-mastery that it just comes through in them not moving from a state or space of fear. This is a masculine energy that holds to what they care about. This is a masculine energy that stands in the face of difficulty. They don't go running in the opposite direction. And this is a feminine energy going, I'm not running away from this masculine. I'm staying as close to this energy as possible because this masculine shows me that they are in a point of self-mastery. This is what's empowering the divine union energy right now. Masculine and feminine that are trying to come into partnership right now, this is why the feminine energy is sticking it out. Or why they're willing now to move towards this masculine. If this is a masculine that is coming towards feminine, recognizing a point of accountability in situations and circumstances. This is a masculine energy that is articulating and saying, I take my accountability in terms of anything that's happened this far. I take my own level of accountability. I'm here. There's almost masculine coming towards feminine right now, trying to come into partnership and saying, I am here to take accountability. I am here to give you what I know I deserve to give you, which is that point of accountability. And for the masculine that's able to do that, that is not shying away from that difficulty, is not running from it, is not pointing a finger, but is standing in that moment. This is a feminine that is feeling the full confidence of feeling that sense or that sense of security and going forward. Because either this is a feminine that is seeing this from an old masculine energy that is now stepping forward to take this level of accountability that potentially feels like a different person. This is almost feminine going if feminine energy is seeing this right now from an old energy, they're literally potentially saying it's like they're a whole different person. Because that's that moment of feminine seeing that shift and recognizing that that shift is happening inside the masculine. Or, again, for some of the feminine energy, if they don't see this, that's it. If this is a feminine energy that is seeing a masculine that's basically saying like, that's a you problem. That sounds like a you problem. That seems like a problem that's not mine. This is something that's like, that's not my issue. That's not my circumstance. That's not my business. This is almost feminine in part trying to come to partnership right now, being like, that's fine. That's okay. Thank you. You're right. That's my problem. I'll just go on. I'll go elsewhere, because this is a feminine energy that's seeing, again, potentially either the two different modalities right now of a masculine that's taking the accountability, allowing for that pathway for divine union vibration to come in. Or this is a masculine that is stepping back. This is a masculine seeing the feminine energy, potentially going through a point of crisis and saying, that's not mine. I don't know. I haven't touched it. I have nothing to do with that. And if feminine seeing that, this is feminine basically, again, moving back into separation, being like, this is not a masculine energy that will be there when things are difficult. This is a masculine energy that is showing the feminine that they just want to potentially create a problem and then swear off any responsibility for the problem that's occurred. Feminine energy and separation, this is exactly why we see the feminine energy is not going back to situations and circumstances like that. Because this is a feminine energy that is identifying that a good masculine energy will not depart when things get difficult. They will move closer to the feminine. They will move to protect the feminine. They will move to support the feminine. The masculine energy that the feminine is looking for divine union needs to be in a space and place and role of being able to be protecting of the things they care about, because that's what an emperor does. They protect the things that they take care of, that the things that are theirs, they protect. And this is a feminine energy that's effectively saying to themselves, if this is a masculine energy that saw the feminine in a point of crisis and did not rise to the challenge of protecting it, this is a feminine energy saying, I was never theirs to begin with. I was never theirs to begin with, because that's showing the fact that that was not an energy that was in divine union. And this is why we see that the feminine is continuing forward, looking and seeking this manifestation, but revisiting situations from the past to further affirm their own conviction as such. Because any energy right now, and this is why feminine's not holding any anger to those old energies, this is feminine energy looking at the old energy that wasn't able to do this, almost with a sense of pity. Because this is feminine energy, if in separation, looking at this and being like, that energy that I'm releasing was not an emperor energy. It was a child. It was a child that does not know what to do at a point of crisis. And that's a feminine energy affirming that they cannot be in a space or place with masculine. This is that moment of masculine potentially replaying some situations that have occurred, potentially even over like the last 8 months or so. And having this point of realization that's potentially occurring right now, in terms of identifying or recognizing that there are points that you would have done something different, that there are points that you see and now perceive you could have done something different. And this is that moment of growing right now, of coming into your sense of strength, coming into your own power. Because what we are effectively identifying at this time right now is masculine. This is why I say that this is the healing that is coming through right now, because what we are effectively seeing at this time is the fact that we are seeing that this is masculine energy that is learning and seeing what they need to do to change to become better in this capacity and in this facility. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Emperor energy and our Page of Wands energy in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Chariot energy. So, masculine and feminine energy right now that is working again in divine union and divine partnership. What we are effectively seeing at this time is, again, a moment that we are recognizing the value and significance of the divine union and the divine partnership. Because what we are really identifying at this time is a point of masculine, again, feeling the strength, feeling the security of the divine union and the divine partnership. Feeling that weight is also creating this space or state where it's like you're feeling that need or that desire to just go forward at this time. Protecting the things that you want to protect, moving in this direction, moving in this amplification of this situation. Because what we're really seeing is, for masculine energy, this is a moment that almost feels like, again, in divine union and divine partnership, it feels like a maturation process. A lot of the energy in divine union and divine partnership at this time is potentially recognizing or feeling like this is a point of deep, deep personal growth. Because this is almost masculine energy in divine union and partnership right now, coming into that maturation process, coming into that sense of becoming the person that you're aspiring to become. And that act of becoming the person that you aspire to become right now is basically coming through right now in the space or state of not just of really focusing on where you want to go and what this looks like. And it feels more like you and the act of being in divine union is helping to guide that path. Feminine right now, this is also something that you're potentially seeing right now in divine union and divine partnership, because what we're really identifying right now is, again, you are seeing a masculine energy right now that not only has this mastery of the self, but they have a lot of conviction and determination as it relates to where they want to go. But it doesn't feel, I have to stress this, it doesn't feel like one person is calling the shots. It feels like the combined energy of looking towards things and charting that course together. It is that feeling of, again, this is a masculine energy that is realizing and recognizing in divine union that the power doesn't come from being able to call all the shots, but from a certain degree being able to let go of the reins to a certain extent. And know that when you let go of the reins, they will still be held to some capacity and to some degree. That is the beauty of the divine union. Okay? This is a masculine energy that's saying, I'm happy to hold the reins. But the masculine's also saying, I don't need to hold them that tightly. Because if I've been doing it well, masculine saying in divine union right now, the sign for the masculine energy right now, I need to stress this, the sign for the masculine energy right now, if they are doing it well, is the moment that they can basically release the reins, if you will, and see that that it's moving in the same direction that it's supposed to be, because this is the trust in that other energy. To know the energy around you is just like, it's not the fact that you're forcing the energy in that direction. It is karmically aligned with you. It's just going to continue in that way. You just need to give it encouragement, right? You just need to put a few more coals on the fire every now and then. Okay? Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is moving into partnership. You may be getting some insights that this is how divine union occurs. And again, I got to stress here, we are seeing a moment right now that is rising back up, okay, wherein we are identifying that for the masculine and feminine energy that's in this moment right now, this is a bit of that polarization point in terms of seeing feminine's watching masculine right now to see if they have this point of recognition. If you have this point of recognition in relation to the fact that feminine is trying to see if masculine energy has mastered this. But feminine is realizing right now, trying to come into divine union, that this is something that they cannot bring out in the masculine. They cannot force the masculine to come into this. They just got to observe and say, do you know how to do this? Or do you know how not to do this? Because what we're effectively seeing right now for the energy trying to come into partnership is, again, masculine is trying to go through something that's feeling like a bit of a crisis point in navigating their own emotional territory here. This is a moment that, again, is either leading to a situation or circumstance. I'm going to describe it as like the cookie jar. Like the cookie jar was pushed really close off the shelf, fell off the shelf. Is this a moment right now where the masculine energy is taking that point of accountability? Are they saying to the feminine and saying, this is our mess. It's not your mess. It's not my mess. This is our mess to clean up. I'm here to clean up the mess. Even if some of this mess isn't exactly mine, this is masculine being like, I'm still here to clean up the mess because I'm here with you. This is what we're going to do for each other. Feminine is watching this right now, and masculine is trying to come into divine union to see if the masculine is at a point that's saying like, this is our mess. We're going to clean it up together. Or if this is a masculine going, that's not my mess. That looks like a big problem. That looks like a you problem. You should work on that. You should take care of that. Or worse, a masculine energy that's going, this is your fault. This is what you did. I didn't do this. This is not something that has any responsibility to me. Don't put this on me. Feminine is literally watching the masculine right now, acting as a perfect mirror. I told you these energies are in alignment right now. Feminine is watching masculine as a perfect mirror going, which way are we going? Which way are we going? Are we going into divine union? Are we going high? Are we going high? Or are we going low? Are we going high or are we going low? Which way? Which way? Which way? You pick the restaurant. This is literally feminine energy in trying to come into divine union right now going, why don't you pick the restaurant? Is this my mess or is this our mess? And so feminine is then conducting, again, moving back into divine union or moving away from masculine. Moving away from masculine. Feminine energy in separation right now, this is why the feminine energy is in separation. And this is why even if feminine energy has been in separation for some time right now, it's not even feminine saying that they want, I'm not even going to call this feminine in separation. This is feminine that's continuing forward on their journey in terms of finding an ideal counterpart, because this is feminine energy that's basically looking at masculine right now and saying, even if this is energy from the past, this is feminine energy being like copacetic about it, because this is feminine looking at that energy and saying, I wanted them to be my divine masculine. I wanted them to stand with me in a time of crisis. I wanted them to show me that they would fall together instead of apart. And this is a feminine energy that's basically now looking, again, any of the karmic energy prior to this point is getting wiped off the slate, because this is a feminine energy going, they couldn't do it. And this is almost a feminine going, not that they didn't choose to. This is almost feminine looking at them with a sense or a space of sadness, of saying they weren't ready. They don't know how to do it. They don't know how to do it. They're still like behaving like a child, energetically, spiritually. And that's why feminine is moving forward right now in separation and saying, what do we do with children? What do we do energetically with children? We hope that they will grow. We hope, we hold a hope that they will grow. But feminine is saying, I'm not going to wait for a child to turn into a self-mastered man. I am going to move forward to find what I am looking for. Masculine in this modality right now, if you are in separation, this is going to potentially feel like a bit of crisis energy that is effectively happening, because you're having a point of reorientation right now. You're replaying some events from the past. This is good. It's good, because if you're replaying the events from the past and you are feeling a level or degree of recognizing that you would have done something different, you are going through this maturation process right now. You're literally going through it. The bigger question right now in separation is, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Are you going to take this and try to go back to the situations of the past to ease some of that karmic energy that you now feel and recognize needs that point of accountability? Or are you just driving this energy forward? Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Knight of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Devil card in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Pentacles in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is working through divine union and divine partnership. This is where we're seeing a lot of this like work coming through as it relates to healing. Because there are some circumstances and situations right now that are coming into play. There's a moment right now of observation that is effectively happening at this time in relation to the energy going forward. Masculine and feminine energy at this time in partnership and this is why this is so lovely, because even though there are deficits that are being felt here right now, it doesn't feel like it is a bad thing. It feels productive. Feminine in partnership right now, there are some feelings or anxiety as it relates to stability. Masculine's not worried about the stability feeling so much. Masculine's more about pursuing passion and creativity. One is worried about the stability of like the practicals. One is worried about the sustainability of the creative mind or the passion center. Both energies are feeling like this, but again, it's okay. You can heal that. The partnership is a space or place that eases that feeling. The feminine finds stability in the partnership. The feminine is healing their own ability of creating stability for themselves via the partnership. Masculine, you are getting creativity. You are getting passion that is inspired and built from the partnership. We are healing this. Masculine isn't feeling that need to seek outside creative efforts. It's all coming through in the partnership itself. Feminine is working right now on feeling that sense of stability from the partnership as well. This is the beauty and the power of the healthy battery. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is working into partnership. This is that moment that we are effectively seeing right now, wherein the energy trying to come into partnership is recognizing, and this is either going to be a moment, again, that you break apart or you come back together, or you move closer together. Because again, this is either personal healing or this is the healing that the partnership's providing. Because we are seeing here with that like cookie jar analogy that we're seeing, this is a moment of feminine almost looking to masculine to a certain extent and saying, I need some support right now. I need some kind of I need that support. I need to know that you're here with me right now. And this is either a masculine that is saying to the feminine, of course I'm here with you. Of course I'm here to support you. I've got you. You can tell me these things and I'm going to give you support in these fashions. Or this is masculine energy. The feminine is saying, I could use a little support right now. And where's masculine? Gone. Not here. This again, almost masculine again, not communicating or laying that level of responsibility on the feminine and being like, that sounds like that's something that you should work on. That seems problematic. That point of, again, coming together or falling together or falling apart. Now, feminine that is feeling this right now, this is literally feminine immediately healing the karmic energy. I have to stress, this is going to feel like a lot of closed doors for feminines potentially feeling this right now, because this is potentially a feminine energy right now that is looking at something and being like, you just bring instability in. You just bring instability in. Feminine's looking at masculine in that way and saying, you are the source of the instability. And masculine in this modality right now, if you're in this, again, for the energy that's coming into partnership right now, this is that moment that you're supporting each other at a moment of weakness. For masculine energy right now, if this is a moment, and I got to stress this, if this is a moment that like you're starting to move away from this feminine or not taking accountability for this, this is almost this moment that you're going to potentially see that this feminine energy is going to shift on you very quickly. You're going to potentially see this energy shift on you. It's going to feel like you're going to like almost be in a space or state right now of saying like, I don't know what happened. One minute everything was fine, and the next minute I don't know what happened. This is what happened. I'm hoping this helps. This happened because the feminine was trying to say to you in some way, I need to know that you're there for me. I need to know that you've got my back. And you didn't do that. So the feminine is now effectively, again, mirroring you and saying, I am not going to be a source of stability for you. This is almost the feminine feeling like the reactive point and getting further feeling unstable because the masculine has effectively moved away from him this way. It's almost like the feminine doubling down on that same energetic space. Now, masculine and feminine energy in separation, this is exactly why we see that the feminine energy right now is being so, I have to stress, it may feel like right now the feminine energy is being so short with masculine energy right now. Masculine energy, if you're in separation right now, there could be a moment right now where you're like, why is the feminine energy being like this to me? Because feminine energy right now is pushing back on any energy that they feel is only trying to come towards them from a sense and a space of their personal interest, of their personal desire. Some of this energy right now is literally recovering from an energy that they feel like they just had to move away from because they would not take responsibility for the problem that they created in the feminine energy's own life. Feminine even feeling like they did this to a capacity for the masculine, and the masculine didn't match the vibration. So this is a feminine energy right now. If the masculine's in separation, is almost like, and this could be a moment right now where the masculine's potentially even seeing this, because the masculine may be trying right now to go around to other energy that's around them, healthy, healed karmic energy, and is saying things like, I don't know what got into her. They've gotten crazy. I don't know what's going on. They're acting all kinds of cuckoo. And this is almost the feminine masculine energy right now, getting that advice from feminine, from like the healthy karmic energy, and being like, that's interesting. Almost like feminine and masculine right now in that modality, like reserving the judgment. Masculine could even be seeing this right now. One of the things that could potentially be happening right now for the masculine energy, if you're trying to go towards feminine energy in this mode, like going towards others to be like, I don't know what's gotten into them. This is almost feminine and masculine starting to feel to a certain extent, like even the energy that's karmically healthy around you is starting to feel like they're trying to tell you something that maybe you don't see about yourself. Because we're seeing here that this is a moment that, again, the energy is healing. We're trying to heal the energy. We're trying to heal the energy here. And it's hard here because this is almost potentially masculine and feminine trying to give some support to masculine, even the energy right now that's platonic, to try to help them see what they need to heal in their own selves, which may be resulting in why the energy is in that modality in the first place. This could almost be a lot of masculine energy right now. I got to stress, this could be a lot of masculine energy if in separation right now, complaining to other energy about a feminine in their life, but almost them saying, well, did you do something? Did you do something that potentially caused the energy to be in that signature? Did you do something? This is the energy around masculine trying to heal it by saying, did you do something that may have inspired that? Okay? Now, masculine and feminine energy in separation. This is feminine energy literally being like, back. This is feminine energy being like, back, like get away. Because this is feminine energy that's almost like affirming to themselves right now, especially if some energy right now is in separation or just went into separation. This is feminine energy right now, almost affirming to themselves that they're healing from unhealthy karmic energy of masculine that did not know what they wanted or was only coming to the feminine from a space of fulfilling their passion. Why does feminine feel like that? Because when things got difficult, that energy was nowhere to be seen. So this is feminine energy going through their own healing journey right now by affirming to themselves that they need to keep away from energy that only comes towards them to fulfill their passion center. And that's why the feminine energy is being so guarded right now. And that's why the masculine energy in separation is feeling a lot of and not getting that point of entry, because this is feminine now looking towards masculine. And again, being like, have you learned what you need to learn? Not to, like, this is not about like coming in to fulfill passion right now. This is feminine basically being like, I'm only leaving myself open and invested in energy that is similarly seeking divine union. Now, Masculine and feminine energy right now into partnership. This is either the port that's going to bring you into divine union, falling together, or falling apart, breaking back away into separation, blaming the other one. Because again, monkey see, monkey do. If masculine's doing one thing right now, feminine is just like, I'm going to match them. I'm going to match them. Feminine's almost like, you want to heal this? We're healing it. You don't want to heal this? You want to paint me as a villain? This is almost feminine going, happy to do it. Happy to do it. You pick, right? Masculine and feminine in partnership right now, this is the power of the partnership. Being able to support each other even in those moments where you're feeling a little bit left out. And again, I feel like it's almost going to feel to a certain extent like giving each other those coals. Like putting those coals in the engine to keep things warm as you go through some moments that feel like they're personally challenging. Thank you for the gift. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Devil card in its reversal in combination with our Eight of Swords in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Six of Swords in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that again are working through in divine union, in divine partnership, okay? One of the things that we are effectively seeing at this time is, again, this moment or observation of releasing grief, of releasing bitterness, of releasing what isn't serving you at this time. This is that moment that, again, it almost feels like a point of catharsis because it's almost this moment in the divine union and the divine partnership, which is just kind of like this feeling or observation of continuing to heal, of working in a space and place of healing. And it's difficult because we see here that there's something about this, even in this moment of divine union and partnership, that feels very vulnerable. It feels almost like you're opening yourself up in ways and degrees that you haven't before. But ultimately, it is that feeling of release right now that is allowing for this point. It's like that moment of vulnerability is also allowing you to abandon all of that feeling of grief. It's like a letting go of all of those burdens. It's just going to feel like a very empowering moment because you're basically like trust falling into the divine union and the divine partnership. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that's trying to come into divine union, this is why it is so difficult, because there's a moment right now where, again, you are actively trying to heal at this moment, okay? Because what we are effectively seeing at this time is, again, for the energy trying to come into partnership at this time, there is a moment where you are feeling very exposed, very vulnerable to the other person. But this is almost a moment where it's like that deepening sense of vulnerability, that deepening sense of exposure allows for this feeling right now of easement, because it's almost like dropping your armor for the other person and feeling the weight of it being lifted is almost in itself, again, the expression of why the divine union is so important, because doing so is allowing for them opportunity to heal. And again, both energies right now are being tested in a way to reach that level or degree of openness. Somebody, it's like almost like creating a space or place where someone needs to go first. Masculine needs to have that point of openness to the feminine and saying, I am accountable to this. This is also mine. I'm not getting defensive here. I am embodying this. I am ready to accept this because this is how we're coming together right now. Feminine is waiting to see if a masculine can move in this vibration of not getting defensive to something, but coming into a state of acceptance that's going to further allow for that healing to occur. And again, for masculine and feminine right now, trying to come into partnership, this is either a moment where you are dropping this armor for each other. You're dropping this armor for each other, and then you are thus coming into divine union. Or you're giving up. You're not seeing what you need to see from the other energy. Feminine's not seeing a masculine that's taking accountability. Masculine, you may be having this moment right now that is feeling too vulnerable. Like you're almost seeing like a feminine that feels like it's too exposed. And this is the moment that you're pulling away. And this is either, again, if a feminine seeing this right now, this is feminine that's literally healing. It's like they're healing the karmic as soon as they walk away from it. Like the minute they step away, they're saying, my healing is away from this. Because this is a masculine that isn't in a space or place that is going to let us release this grief, because this is potentially a moment, if masculine's trying to point the finger at the feminine, this is a feminine that feels like even the partnership itself, any possibility of divine union, would not be divine union. It would be an isolating experience wherein the masculine does not build the problems together, but rather almost points the feminine in having the problems. It's almost like that feeling of recognizing, of feeling like you're in partnership, but constantly in separation. Now, feminine that's in separation, again, I'm hesitant to even call it separation right now. This is feminine basically saying, I'm healing. Feminine almost saying they're healing, because it's not the fact that the feminine didn't see the possibility of something here. But feminine is looking at it and being like, that would not have been a liberating experience. That would have been a confining experience. That would have forced me to inhabit a situation or circumstance that was just confining. It was just confining. And this is feminine going through that process of easement in saying, I refuse to be in the situation or circumstance that isn't that divine union, but is one that feels more like an energy that doesn't want to be in a place of being in a union with me, but just wants to possess me for the sake of possessing me. This is feminine effectively allowing that to be a point of easement, because feminine saying that is unhealthy and I want to let it go. Masculine in separation right now, this is that moment that we are effectively seeing that, again, in separation, there is a point here where you are healing, because you are now recognizing that something that you thought was a benefit, something that you looked at and thought was a positive, is now feeling like a negative. Something that you thought in terms of leaving your options open is now almost feeling like, again, it almost feels like a bit of drifting. It feels like there's nowhere to go. It almost feels like you're like alone in a landscape right now. But again, this is why this is coming through as a healing experience right now, because you are breaking through your own self-limiting beliefs that is either now allowing you, the affirmation here is saying, I see something here. I hold a lot of grief for it. I recognize my own limitations at the time prevented me from making the right choices. So this is either going to feel like a masculine that, again, is now going to release the grief. How they choose to release the grief, either going back to reach a point of accountability on the past, or taking those lessons with them into the future as they proceed forward from this point. Masculine and feminine energy in partnership right now is, again, that moment that, again, it's not the fact that the partnership is what holds you in place. It's a realization that a good divine union doesn't feel like it is a confining situation. It actually becomes an expansive situation. It actually grows everything out tremendously. It makes everything more positive. It builds, it grows outwards. It's like the TARDIS. It's like the TARDIS, okay? It's like the partnership, the divine union partnership. When it's working, feels like a space or place that just grows. It just, more rooms exist versus becoming confining, because it's not a space where you try to confine the other. You just try to grow outwards instead of inwards. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between our Eight of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Chariot. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now. This is beautiful, because what we see here is the ending of unhealthy karmic cycles, the closing out point on the cycles that have not been serving. And it's going to feel, it's like a lot of heavy energy here, because what we're effectively, ideally identifying right now is, again, masculine and feminine energy right now. This is more a moment of moving, continuing to move forward in those spaces and places that feel like they are positive, feel like they are supportive, feel like they are productive. And it is expansive. It's like opening things up for you. It's knocking down a lot of those walls. While at the same time, it's also and again, it feels like somewhat bittersweet, because at the same time, it's experiencing or expressing itself as like a bit of ego death around you at the same time. It's that moment that feels like a liberation point, even as it's feeling like the closing out of a cycle, because it's opening up this like determination point. It's opening up this clarification of experience, that clarification of the path, that clarification of the direction, by abandoning or letting go of the situations and the circumstances from the past that may felt like they were limiting, that may felt like they were confining. This is like walking away from one thing because you're moving into another. It's that growth moment. It's that expansion point. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now. And again, it is feeling like, it's going to feel like a little bittersweet here is what we're seeing. Because even for masculine and feminine right now, it's not the fact that there haven't been points of perfection in the past. It is that continual onward trek forward that is allowing those new possibilities to open up. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that's trying to come into partnership, this is literally the make or break point that we're seeing. This is literally the make or break point that we are seeing. Because what we are effectively identifying at this time is this moment for these energies wherein we are seeing that masculine and feminine energy in partnership right now. This is either a moment in terms of the feminine watching the masculine right now to identify whether this is masculine energy that effectively is able to take a level of accountability and responsibility for the past or where things have been, or if there's still that point of accusation, pointing, finger pointing, or refusing to take accountability here or be a part of a problem, like taking one's own share of a burden. That this is out, again, for feminine, it's very quick, it's very immediate. This is either feminine looking to masculine right now and saying, this is yes or no. There's no room for in between. This is either something that you are open to this, that you take your share of this. That is allowing for that point of breaking open in terms of one's own self-limiting beliefs, the observation of divine union occurring. Moving together, being able to do things together, taking that responsibility together. Your burdens become my burdens. Your problems are my problems. Your joys are my joys. Or this is a moment of observing that that's not there. There's a moment of observing that that's not present, that this doesn't feel like an experience that is being mutually shared. So much as one that, again, it could feel like you're together, but you're not together, you're apart, because it's not that observation point of feeling the connectedness of having that joint experience. This is a moment that we're effectively seeing that will effectively move energy away from each other and say, it's not here. It's not there. You don't have the ability. Feminine specifically, especially if the masculine's doing a lot of that finger pointing, this is feminine going, you don't have the ability. You don't recognize what this is or how it works. And this is feminine energy potentially moving away from masculine, going right back into separation. Feminine energy right now, this is why we see the fact that masculine energy right now and feminine in separation. This is why the feminine energy is leaving so little room for new masculine energy to come towards them at this time. Because what we are effectively seeing right now is masculine and feminine energy right now is effectively in a space or place where feminine is almost looking at the connection to masculine as a zero-sum game. This is feminine energy looking at masculine and effectively saying, can you do this or can you not? This is feminine almost looking at that. That's almost, again, feminine is keeping a very specific eye on masculine right now. All of the masculine energy is in separation, because I told you, feminine is not chasing after masculine right now. Feminine is looking at masculine to see if there is this point of recognition, if there is this point of the masculine being able to be in a space or state where they realize that they can do this work. And this is masculine energy right now that we're effectively seeing, wherein feminine is looking at masculine and saying, do you show these abilities? Do you show this quality? Do you show this level or degree of having mastered one's own self? Or are you still approaching towards the end of acting in a way very much energetically or spiritually right now, like a very self-possessed child? Is this something where it's like you're thinking only about your own needs, your own desires? And this is feminine energy that's effectively looking right now. And again, almost being very short and brief with masculine right now, because this is really a moment of feminine being like, it's there or it's not. You can do this or you can't. And feminine basically being like, it's almost like feminine's not even like seeking this out right now. I need to stress, in separation, this is not even something that feminine is moving in the direction of. Feminine's almost like looking as they go to see if those have this ability or if they don't. It's almost like something that feminine's now like teaching themselves to do karmically right now, that is feeling a lot of this, like feminine's almost literally saying to themselves, I know it when I see it. It's self-evident to a certain extent. It's almost feminine starting to build that confidence in themselves as it relates to their own ability right now, in telling the difference between masculine energy that has this ability versus masculine energy that doesn't. Now, masculine energy right now in separation, this is going to feel a little bit potentially like a bit of an ego death. It's going to feel a little bit like that. It's going to feel like a little bit of like this fundamental moment that's either going to feel like you have to make some changes, like feeling like you're looking, and again, it's either going to feel like an outside situation or it's going to feel like an inside situation. It's going to feel like a moment where masculine's being like, something's changed around me. I think I need to change. Or this is masculine having a moment of observation in terms of recognizing and saying, I see what I need to change in myself. I see what I need to let go of. I see what I need to rise up to. And again, for the energy right now that's experiencing this internally, it's going to feel like a bit of an epiphany. It's going to feel like you're breaking through your own limitations. For the energy right now that's looking and they're having more of trying to take notes, like not necessarily embodying it, it's going to feel more like you're like giving yourself like little tips on things that you might change to like have a better impact. But like that might be a moment where it's going to feel a little bit more like a crisis point, because it's going to feel like a little bit more like you're trying to follow a script instead of learning a lesson, right? It's a difference. It's going to feel like the difference. I got to stress this right now. It's going to feel like the difference between someone giving you a formula to keep in your pocket versus actually understanding the chemistry of what's happening inside of you. Between what's happening, like really understanding on an internal level the shifts that need to occur. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now, between our Queen of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Six of Swords in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Four of Pentacles. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is in union or in divine union or in divine partnership. This is that moment that we're effectively identifying at this time. That again, it is feeling to a certain extent very much, how do I articulate this? This is that moment of holding tight to what is of value to you. This is that moment of, again, feeling the strength and the security of the partnership that you are effectively creating at this time, that is allowing that level or degree of releasing anything that feels like it is not serving you. Now, for feminine right now, in that divine union energy, this is almost coming through right now from a state or space of, again, it is looking with a lot of observation on some things right now and observing those situations or scenarios that just create this state or space of instability within you. But again, this is something that the feminine energy right now is learning right now in the divine union partnership that is helping them, because it's almost creating a space or state where feminine can actually feel more vulnerable than they have prior to this point. Specifically because they know that they are supported. This is almost a feminine energy that, again, it's going to feel, for some of the feminine energy right now, it's going to feel a little bit like you are, I want to say like unraveling to a certain degree, but like it's a positive moment. Because what we're effectively seeing at this time is this point of observation, wherein the partnership allows you a moment of releasing any of the grief that you've been holding on to prior to this moment. That is what we're seeing. It's going to feel a little strange to feminine, because this is almost going to feel to feminine right now in divine union and divine partnership. I've never felt so exposed. I've never felt like that, but I also have never felt so secure. The partnership basically allows this level of degree of openness that also feels very strengthening, which is really kind of a nice, beautiful energy. Masculine right now in divine union and divine partnership. This is almost a moment or a space or a place where you are leaving room for feminine energy to have that moment. This could even be a moment to masculine of saying to feminine, you try to carry things all the time. You can have a point of letting go to a certain degree. You don't need to carry these things so much. This is almost masculine recognizing the fact that like feminine energy does not give themselves the opportunity to allow a point of not focusing on building stability. This is almost masculine trying to say to feminine in divine union and partnership right now, it's not your burden to carry. It's okay not to have to carry that burden. I'm going to be here. You don't have to work so hard on it. I'm going to allow you some space or place to ease up. And that is what's allowing the divine union to further get fortified. Because if anyway, it's almost like masculine trying to give the conviction to feminine, of trying to say to feminine, even if you're not in a space of stability, that's not going to affect the partnership. I'm not going anywhere. You can have that point of easement. And in a way, that is making the feminine energy feel more stable and supportive. Because that's almost like, again, re-amplifying the battery of a feminine that is getting the support and knowing that the masculine is going to be there and take care of them, even at moments that they feel like they can't do so themselves. Masculine and feminine energy trying to come into partnership. This is that moment that we are effectively identifying wherein, again, this is a moment of feminine looking right now and, again, either feeling the weight of a masculine that is saying, I've got you. I've got this. This is the same exact energy of the partnership if we're seeing the divine union occurring, because this is what the masculine is saying to the feminine, which is like, I've got you. It's going to feel like an embrace. This is a feminine masculine saying, like, there's almost a feminine saying, I'm scared you're going to go away. I'm scared you're going to walk away. I'm scared that like this is too much for you. I'm scared that all of this is too much for you. And this is masculine almost saying, absolutely not. I'm here for all of it, even when things are difficult. That is that point of catharsis. The battery powers up. Divine union. Beautiful. Welcome. Now, masculine and feminine that is in divine, trying to come into divine union. And if this is a masculine where they're seeing a feminine, where you're observing a feminine in a moment where they are feeling unstable, if they are feeling unstable and you in response are looking at them and saying, that seems really tough. That seems like a lot to be going through. That's not mine. I don't know what that is, but it's not mine. That seems hard. I'm good. If you're holding back in this way, this is feminine energy just done. And in a way, like this is feminine energy, like almost becoming more unstable in the process, because we are seeing right now that this is a masculine, this is feminine, almost getting confirmation of themselves and saying, there's no possibility of fixing this. Because this is a masculine energy that will watch the feminine basically fall apart in front of them and basically say, that's not mine. I don't know what that is. Denying of the responsibility to the feminine, right? Walking away. So this is what we're seeing here about that moment, about saying, like, are you there when things get difficult, or do you walk away? Do you disavow? Do you say that has nothing to do with me? I don't know what that is. So masculine and feminine energy in this modality right now, this is either leading to divine union or back into separation energy. Okay? And in feminine, observing this is feminine energy almost walking away from the masculine and not looking back. Because this is feminine saying, they've shown me where their loyalty lies, and it's within the self. Old story. Masculine and feminine energy, continuing to get clarification on this between. Now, feminine energy right now, again, feminine energy in separation right now, that's going through this to a certain extent, what we are effectively seeing at this time is this moment where we are observing that for the masculine and feminine energy right now that's in this modality of separation, this is why the feminine energy is not going back to any circumstances or situations right now that have caused them any level or degree of instability. Because this is feminine energy that is basically just recognizing that the source of instability is coming through in the grief that they're carrying. This is feminine almost saying, I need to let something go. Not letting it go is creating too much instability. So this is feminine energy trying to hold on to what they know is important, releasing that grief, because feminine is basically saying, I have to release this grief. Feminine energy is literally at a space and place right now where they're realizing that it's causing too much pain to hold on to someone else's karma right now that isn't willing to heal it. And this is feminine almost saying, like, I have to shed it to be able to move forward in terms of what feels like it is viable and strong. Masculine in separation right now, this is a moment of potentially having to take some point of recognition. This is potentially, again, a moment right now for masculine energy in separation. You may be having a little bit of this epiphany moment. Of this moment of seeing feminine energy. And again, not seeing feminine energy in a moment of instability. But those moments where you pulled away, you pulled back, you held on to what was yours. The moment that you tried to hold on to what was yours, what you suddenly realize is what you said to the feminine energy is, you're not mine. You're not mine. Those moments where the feminine said, I am feeling unstable, that you are experiencing mutual instability, and you pulled what you needed to close to you. If you didn't pull the feminine in with you, then what the feminine realized and you're now experiencing is you are effectively saying to the feminine, spiritually and energetically, you're not mine. And that is why this feminine energy is not yours, because you effectively told them energetically, spiritually, that that was the case. This is a moment right now of masculine having this point of observation and effectively feeling what you've been holding on to is what you effectively have right now. And so if you're in separation right now for masculine, this is either a moment of, again, trying to collect something, go back to something and say, I made a mistake. Or this is a moment right now where you are trying to learn this lesson and hold on to it as you go forward from this point, with the recognition of how you can do better. Continuing to get clarification on these cards right now between Six of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Ten of Swords. So, may I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Hangman. I gotta say, this is interesting energy that we're seeing right now, because there is something here that feels a little bit of stop-start, even for the energy right now that is in divine union or divine partnership at this moment. What is potentially feeling so difficult is there is a process right now of releasing what is not serving you, but also feeling the impact of closing the cycles around you right now. And this is almost this moment right now that is going to feel a little bittersweet, because it's almost a moment right now of asking oneself, What can you take with you going forward? And it feels like a little bit for the partnered energies right now, even for the energy that's in divine union and divine partnership, one of the things that you're recognizing is it's always feeling like a little bit of a balancing act, okay? It's almost feeling constantly like a little bit of that struggle point, because you're realizing that it's not something that feels like a yes or no question. It's something that needs constant refinement. It's something that like constantly needs adjustment, right? Looking at things right now and really asking like what needs to end versus what needs to be carried forward. It's like something that like continually feels like a bit of that stop-start process, but you're doing it for each other. You're helping each other through it. You're helping each other through those moments of grief, through those moments of easement. And the situation and circumstance of the partnership right now is recognizing, okay, the fact that we are seeing that it is feeling a point like it's always a difficulty, it's always a hurdle, it's something that like is difficult and painful to carry, but also very profound. It is that moment of experiencing that point that feels like a balancing act, because again, it's not that the divine union is easy. The divine union requires a lot of this calibration, but it's like that balancing act is what allows for some point of feeling that the struggle points, even the points of struggle, create a lot of insight. It's like that is the gift. It's not that things are always perfectly easy. It's that even when things are difficult, it is the support that you're getting in the divine union and partnership that lends a degree of insight even while experiencing some of those setbacks or hurdles. Masculine energy right now and feminine that is trying to move into divine union and divine partnership. This is a moment that we have been seeing that, again, this is that point that we are identifying that feels either like this is a moment where things are showing the ability to go forward, even at a moment where there's been pain. This is, again, an observation point. This is a window that's happening that's allowing for a point of accountability. It's allowing for a point of easement. It is allowing for a point of taking one's responsibility to be able to move forward into divine union. But it's requiring that sense, that observation of accountability. Masculine needs to bring it forth to feminine. Feminine will almost immediately bring it back to masculine in kind. And it is that moment that we're effectively seeing that is either showing the ability for something to do that, to have that capacity, or complete and utter finalitude. And this is like heavy karmic finalitude moment, just walking away from something that isn't necessarily working. And what we're effectively seeing at this moment is that point that, again, it really does depend on the energy in terms of whether this is something that you feel like you can recover from, or if this is something that feels like an ending. Feminine is watching masculine right now to see if masculine is sharing this burden with them, or if they're going to use that burden to try to hurt feminine. And that's the moment of feminine effectively feeling, again, the weight and decision as to whether they can go forward from this point. Masculine, you are effectively trying to come into partnership right now. This is a moment where, again, what feminine has brought you feels very hard. It feels very heavy. This is either a moment that is leading you to say, this is our shared burden. What you brought me isn't necessarily just yours. I also take a share of responsibility in it. Or this is a moment that you're saying, this is all yours. It's a bridge too far. I can't do this. It's over. Moving away, back into separation. Again, this is a point for both energies right now. We see that a lot of it's lingering here. So depending on how you respond in this moment is really going to depend as to whether there's going to be a continuation of divine union or not. Now, masculine and feminine energy in separation right now. This is why feminine is not going back to situations and circumstances with masculine. Because this is feminine having a karmic moment right now as some of these past events are being revisited. And it's going to feel very bittersweet to feminine right now, because this is feminine energy feeling the full weight of this in separation, that almost articulates and says, masculine brought something to me. Masculine brought something to me that I would have always found a recoverability point on. I would have always found a way for us to go forward. I would have always found some means to heal this. But when masculine was presented with the same opportunity, they took the same thing that feminine was ready to release, and they used it to stab the feminine. They used it to hurt the feminine. This is why this is the completion of a karmic cycle, and this is almost that moment of feminine saying, if they don't see that they did this, there is no possibility going forward, because this is a feminine energy observing and saying, someone took something. Someone gave me the same power that I gave them. And instead of releasing it, instead of letting it go, they took it and they used it to hurt me. Now, for feminine that's experiencing this, this is almost going to feel like a lot of spiritual insight that's coming from this moment, because it's feeling like, again, the gift is the spiritual observation of your own self and your own accountability. And that's why we see here that this is why this is a feminine that is affirming that they cannot go back. But they're learning a lot in this way, because feminine energy is feeling the spiritual insight in recognizing that a gift that they gave to someone else was something that someone used to immediately harm them. Now, masculine energy in separation right now, and this is why feminine is not going back to anything right now. They're just taking the lesson, as difficult as it is effectively allowing for that point of easement. Masculine energy in separation right now, it could be that observation point here. It could be that observation point that we are seeing, because this is a moment that we are identifying that masculine is potentially seeing and recognizing in separation. And this could be a moment of, again, a lot of self-inquiry, because masculine is potentially looking right now at some circumstances from the past and past situations, and asking themselves what they could effectively do better. And it's not the fact, and it's going to feel potentially overwhelming right now for a lot of the masculine in this modality, because this is the moment where you're looking for some sense of forgiveness. You're looking for that way of releasing this burden. But the thing is, it's either got to come from within in terms of the ego death, or it needs to come from without. Because it's almost this observation of the lesson that you're now receiving. You're seeing things in a different way. And that perception is now putting you in a very difficult place, because it's feeling like a little bit of a limbo effect. Because this is a moment of masculine looking at something and saying, something is over. Some way I was doing things cannot persist forward. And this is either going to feel like a circumstantial situation that you're trying to accommodate to, or that's that internal moment, that internal recognition, that internal insight that you're now saying, I need to make some kind of changes, because I can't continue to perpetuate forward in this way. That is also like leading to a little bit of soul searching right now, because this is almost feeling like masculine is grasping some kind of deeper lesson that's coming through an ending, coming through some cycle, coming to a point of completion. Final card for today's spread between our Four of Pentacles in combination with our Hangman. May I please have one card to clarify? Two cards coming out to clarify. We've got here our Queen of Wands in combination with our Queen of Swords in its reversal. So, masculine and feminine energy right now that is working in divine union and divine partnership. This is very intriguing, because what we're really seeing right now is for the energy right now that is in divine union and partnership. This is that moment that we are effectively identifying for the energies that are in partnership, in terms of feeling like there are some spaces and places right now. The energy around you has been difficult. It has been leading to a lot of hard choices. But what we're effectively identifying right now for the energies in partnership at this moment is really identifying and recognizing what you're holding on to at this time. And it is requiring this like level or degree of coming into the state of balance. For feminine energy right now, this is almost that moment that feels like you are kind of moving back and forth potentially through modalities, because what we're almost identifying here is a point that we're recognizing that for feminine energy specifically, we are seeing that there's something here that's happening as it relates to your own sense of boundaries coming into play. Your feminine energy right now is moving into this state or space of trying to like channel their creativity, channel their passion, channel their power to a certain extent. We're almost identifying right now for the feminine energy and divine union and partnership at this time. This is some of that feeling that we're seeing that is like that sense of vulnerability that's leading to create like a surge of like empowerment. It's like the power of the divine union is one where it's like you don't need to have your guard up all the time. It is the fact that like the feminine realizes that the more that they're able to like release that guard, release that boundary, it's like the feminine feels the weight and the significance of the divine union being the only space the feminine feels like they can be their most true authentic self, and it is not reviled, it's celebrated. And that is the moment for feminine that we're effectively seeing at this time, is allowing a point of recognizing a feminine going through any of the difficulties or challenges that the masculine partnership brings, to be able to bear that. It's like the feminine recognizing the value and significance of that, and feminine putting their weight and value in that. Masculine energy in divine union and partnership at this time, this is that moment of, again, having this sense of security in the partnership and union, because it's not the fact that you're not doing everything that you can to protect the divine partnership and union. It is feeling like even if there are moments when you feel like you are not able to, in moments where you feel like you are in need, you've got feminine energy that you know that in a moment's notice is going to kind of like rise to the challenge to work to support you. Again, supporting the divine union, masculine putting their sense of security and strength, not in outside objects, but in the energy of the feminine, saying the feminine is effectively the most valuable gift I have, right? Now, masculine and feminine that are trying to come into partnership right now, this is literally what the feminine energy is looking at the masculine at right now, to see where the masculine's priorities lie, because this is a feminine that has dropped their guard to masculine, that is being more vulnerable to masculine than they have been. That it's not that they don't have to be. This is a feminine energy that is not in a space or place. This is not a feminine energy that is falling into the role of a victim. This is a feminine energy that is making made the conscientious choice to be vulnerable to a masculine. And this is a masculine and feminine energy that is watching to see if the masculine energy will claim the feminine. If the masculine energy will say, I've got you. I've got you. I'm not going anywhere. Or if this is a masculine energy that's vacillating. If this is a masculine energy that is holding on to what they think is important. Feminine's watching to see what masculine energy is grabbing onto in a moment that feels like a struggle point. And feminine is almost, again, there's not a lot of moment here. Feminine's not going to articulate that they're seeing this to masculine. They're just going to watch. They're just going to watch to see what masculine grabs for in a moment of crisis. And the feminine is basically articulating that if the masculine grabs for anything else beyond the feminine, then that is where the masculine energy's value lies. That is what the masculine energy cares about. And that's a feminine. Again, if this is a moment where the masculine, look at this, the masculine reaches for the feminine in that moment and says, I got you. Feminine saying, and I've got you. Divine union. Thank you. You've shown me. If masculine energy leaves feminine in a moment where she's shown herself vulnerable to the masculine, basically like, almost like, again, through the last week or so, like, basically like, showed the masculine their throat, gave them the weapon. If masculine uses it at a moment of vulnerability to hurt the feminine, feminine's almost grabbing it at the last moment and saying, that's all I needed to see. That's all I needed to see. Thank you. That's all I needed to see. Because feminine is then seeing that this is not an energy of divine union, because this is a masculine that does not hold feminine as the gift. Masculine and feminine energy that's in separation right now, this is why the feminine energy is effectively not going back to any circumstances or situations, even if it's painful for the feminine. Feminine does not want to be in separation. It's painful for feminine to be in separation. Feminine's going, I'm willing to experience the pain of being in separation because I am waiting for energy that realizes that I am never vulnerable, but I desire to be. And that will not take advantage of those moments when I finally am vulnerable in the expression of divine union to hurt me. When I'm giving that, because for the feminine right now, this is feminine basically trying to articulate in separation and saying, this is not a feminine that is vulnerable. This is a feminine that says, I am incredibly, incredibly strong. My vulnerability is the gift. If I give you the vulnerability, that is the gift. You, feminine's basically saying to masculine, you are not the gift here. Me giving my vulnerability to you is the gift. And if I can't do that, then there's no divine union. Masculine energy in separation right now. This could be a moment of observation, and it may feel like you're looking at things from a different perspective. It could be a moment right now that you're looking at some things with a lot of different optics. Thank you for the gift. Because this is a moment of, again, almost recognizing a situation or circumstance of feminine energy that isn't typically vulnerable. You're almost seeing that this is not an energy that was vulnerable. This could potentially even be an observation point of some energy that seemed like it was very vulnerable to you. And suddenly you're getting every indication that this energy is incredibly strong. And for masculine energy right now, this is that moment that you may be having some optics and realizing that that was the value, that was the gift. And this is potentially why you now see that a lot of the energy right now is holding back to you to a certain extent, because this is feminine energy. And I think that this is what the masculine is seeing. The feminine energy has been weighing the masculine, energetically and spiritually, watching to see if they've learned these abilities, watching to see energetically if they've learned these pathways. And masculine right now is effectively identifying and understanding right now that this is a moment that, again, to a certain extent, if you find yourself in separation right now, this could be a moment that you're feeling like you're holding on to a lot of things, but it also potentially feels like you're holding on to nothing. It's almost like saying and looking at the things that you've been holding onto your hand and opening them and feeling like it was fool's gold, feeling like it was nothing, feeling like it was air, like the thing you grabbed for wasn't there, because the thing that you let go of was potentially the feminine energy that showed you the ability of being very strong, but being willing to be vulnerable towards you. And for masculine that is learning this right now, this is, again, a moment of comprehension and understanding of the self that is either leading you now to try to go back to seek the gift that you lost, or trying to learn this confirmation and affirmation as you proceed forward from this point. Bottom of the deck on this reading today is Ace of Cups in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is working in partnership, there is this feeling right now of just some exhaustion that's coming in. It's been an emotional week, guys. It's been very emotional, even for the energy in partnership. There's been some feelings of disappointment. There's been some feelings of frustration. There's been some points of anxiety. But again, the value of the divine union and partnership is knowing that you will just continue to give forward to each other, but almost like needing to take some time for oneself in the process, because this is almost giving like a sense of like over exhaustion, if you will. So making sure that you're taking care of the self at this time is also very important. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now that is working in partnership, this is literally what I've been saying. What you give right now is what you're going to get. Masculine, feminine is mirroring you like crazy right now. This is feminine that's watching masculine and being like, are we being nice? Are we being mean? Are we being accepting? Are we being hostile? Because again, this is feminine energy that is right now in a moment that they're feeling the re-triggering of the Venus in retrograde lesson that they feel like they messed up. This is a feminine that feels like they overgave to something from masculine right now. Masculine's not giving it back in kind, which is feminine almost saying to themselves if trying to come into partnership, I think I did it again. I think I accidentally did it again. I think I overgave to someone who isn't able to give back to me in kind. And this is why we see for the feminine right now, this is why we see that the feminine is ready to pull back. But the thing is with the feminine pulling back is this is almost going to feel like a pulling back that might feel like a fist right now. If this is a feminine that literally is watching masculine and being like, are you kidding me right now? I just gave you something and now you're giving this to me. I just gave you a weapon. I gave you something you could hurt me with and you're taking it to hurt me. This is feminine now feeling like shots fired. Shots fired. Someone just took the first movement and took a moment of feminine going into easement. Masculine returning it with a blow right now will lead these energies to really snap back on themselves. So I'm saying here, please match the energy that you hope to receive right now. Masculine, you have been feeling this overflow of emotions right now, which has been triggering you like crazy, especially if you're trying to come into divine union right now, because you're trying to teach yourself how to emotionally regulate like this to avoid the mirror from punching you back when you punch at it. So let's not do that. We don't want the divine punch coming in here. Masculine, you're potentially seeing this. Like, I cannot react like this because I'm just going to get it right back in kind. I'm going to leave that door open. Now, masculine and feminine energy that are in separation right now. This is why the feminine energy right now is literally in that. I have to stress a lot of the masculine energy right now. You may be noticing this masculine talking a lot to the healthy karmic energy around them right now and being like, I don't know why all the women around me are acting like this. This is all the women around you being like, we know. And they're also saying, what did you do? Right? This is almost masculine being like, I don't know. This is masculine going around to a lot of energy being like, I don't know why this person is so mad to me. And they're going, well, what did you do? Because even the other feminine energy right now that's in partnership is like, right? So masculine right now in separation, it's almost this moment that feels like, again, it's almost like you're having to fill your own cup right now. Because again, it's almost this observation of it feeling like, it feels like, again, if you're in separation right now, masculine, it could feel like all the women are in this modality. And you're like, again, it's requiring this point of observation. Feminine in separation right now, this is why. Feminine energy, if in separation, is feeling the full burden and weight of this frustration, because this is feminine energy that is in separation right now, not because they didn't feel like they gave enough. This is feminine energy that is almost frustrated at themselves for having given so much and almost re-amplifying that Venus in retrograde message again and going, I need to stop over-giving to energy that doesn't give it back in kind. And this is almost feminine feeling that frustration on their own selves and being like, this is almost feminine. This is why feminine's feeling so reactive right now. This is almost feminine going, I've got no one to blame but myself. Right? That's the thing. Feminine needs to be a little bit more care to themselves right now in this. Because there's almost a feminine energy being like, I should have known better. So that is our daily collective read for today. I'd like to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, gracestrega.com. My private readings are done over video with the option of a recording sent to you afterwards. And if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber ID at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you would like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your DMs and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. I want to thank you guys so much for being here with me today and sharing with me in these messages. And we will do this again tomorrow. Guys, that is